if you just wanted to go use the restroom, can you just turn off the camera for a little bit and then come back?
So yes,
Right.
anytime but lecture. Lecture is just an hour and it's the
Okay.
first thing. So I really expect you guys to be able to just be here for that hour. Like,
Okay.
and if there's an emergency, of course, just let me know on Discord. But yeah, like some classrooms are like 3 hours, right? And most people sit through that whole thing. Like, I'm just asking you for that hour to be here with your cameras on. During the breakout rooms, again, you can take all the breaks you need and want. But with that being said, if there's some emergency during lecture, just DM me. I mean, go do what you need to do. Don't pee your pants, but then DM me. Let me know.
Mhm.
All right. That was the quickest orientation ever. That's all the orientation material. Yeah. Any final questions on that before we move into the actual stuff we're here for? All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a question. Hey, what's up, guys? Morning. Well, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I got a question in regards to Canvas. I'm not sure if anyone else stumbled across like a roadblock of signing in, but I got like a access denied pop up.
All right. We'll figure it out right after lecture.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. All right. With that being said, your assignment today is to build a fan website in HTML, right? And submit it. So we have to talk about HTML. So what is HTML, right? Who had a chance to do the pre-work? Pre-work? Okay, Demi. In the pre-work, do you know what HTML stands for?
Hypertext markup language.
Beautiful. And what do those things mean, right? So let's start with hypertext. What does that mean? What does that mean? Josephine, any guess? What does hypertext mean? Oh, and again, just spacebar to unmute. There we go. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, so any, from pre-work, any ideas what hypertext means?
I'm taking a guess, but I think it's where you text it to the browser and the browser will reroute it
Yeah.
to the server for it to read the text.
Yeah. So this is just going to be our normal links, right? So do we have any here? Yeah. So all these, hypertext, just a fancy word for links. Okay. And then we have markup language. So what is markup language? What do you think, Antonio? Oh, sorry, you're muted.
I don't know, it creates, you tell it to do something and it does it for you.
Yeah. Anyone add to that? Yeah, Parvinder?
So markup is basically the designing of those links. You can say CSS or something.
Okay, so it's normal text that we surround with tags and it changes it visually. Let me try to move this over. Okay, so that is markup language. So why do we need HTML in the first place, right? Why can't we just like use text to build websites? So let me open up Notepad. And what would Amazon look like, right, if we didn't have HTML and we just had text? So possibly this would still be usable, but it'd be a very different internet, right? If this is what we had to work with and we didn't have HTML to change the visual appearance of text. So this is kind of the birthplace of HTML. This is how it started, just changing the look of text. And then obviously we've added a lot of functionality on top of that. But that's kind of the basics. So together, we're going to start building some HTML. Right now, I just want to make a website that says hi or hello world, right? So I'm going to open up VS Code because that's going to be the editor where we, give me 1 second. That's going to be our editor where we edit HTML files. So what each of you are going to have to do when you're building different projects, you're going to have to find a place on your hard drive where you create a folder like Hackmyhead or code. I'm not picky about how you name your folder. I will be very picky about other naming conventions. But yeah, however you want to organize where you store your code is fine. For me, I have a folder called code just on like the C drive. And then today, I'm actually going to create a new folder in VS Code. So I'm going to call this folder day 1. And then inside, and then when I create this new folder, I'm going to open directly into the folder of day 1. Okay. And this is what I recommend. This will stop a lot of bugs for you guys. If you always open VS Code in the folder you're working in, it's way better. Now I'm going to create an HTML file, right? So I'm going to go to new file and I'm going to call it index.html. Now, naming a file HTML will enable a browser like Chrome to expect that it's an HTML file or it's text that has HTML tags. So how can we get this hello world to appear? How can we get this hello world to appear? Any ideas?
Tag.
What tag?
An H1 tag.
Sure. Yeah. So we can do an H1 tag and hello world, right? And we save this. And now I can manually just open this file in Chrome by moving it over. We'll see why that's not ideal in a second. Okay, so let's talk about this, right? So that worked, right? We have an HTML website with just this information. But with HTML, see how Chrome actually inferred this structure? So there's a few more tags that we should use when we're creating an HTML website. So what we really should do is have an HTML tag and a head tag and a body tag. And we'll talk about the difference between those two in a second. And in our body tag is where our H1 tag would go. And we say, hello world. Now Chrome doesn't have to guess at our file here because we explicitly told it. So what is the difference here between head and body? What's the difference between head and body? What do you think, Eston? Any ideas?
I know the head holds the title
and then 2 other meta tags. What those exactly are, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
like the information detailing what the body is or what the age is.
Yeah, so usually it's described as the head holds information that we don't visually see, and the body has information that we do visually see. Although the title is an exception to this because we actually can see it right here on this tab. You see that day 1? That's how we got the day 1 to appear in the title tag. Okay, let's talk about the naming of the structure of these things. So we have this H1 element. And what this is referred to as an HTML element. And the angle brackets with the H1 and the closing angle brackets, that's referred to as an opening tag. And then likewise, the other set of angle brackets is referred to as a closing tag. And the text in the middle is like child text content or the child. But the naming of these things is going to be very important. Also, this could be referred to as an H1 tag or an H1 element. Okay, any questions on the most basics of HTML? So we have a few other tags we want to cover today, right? Because in the assignment today, whoops. In the assignment today, we need a div, unordered list, a list, anchor tag, image, paragraph, and H1. So, what I'd like to build today is a class, I don't know, photo, but, well, yeah, or a class page, right? So our class name is HMH Web 3. So I want to put that up here. Actually, we're not going to have styling today, so it's going to be right there. And then I want to take a class photo. So I'm going to do that right now. Oh, that's a bad one. Hold on. Let me go do this again. Okay, can you guys smile on 3? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right. So here's our class photo. And copy this. Save this. Save it. Okay, copy it. Okay. So here's what I got. So we're going to put that right there. And then we're going to list our, what do I want to list? Our favorite games. Actually, sorry. I want to not have the alignment like that. Favorite games. Favorite movies. Favorite books. Yeah, we'll start there. Let me get some of these for us to put, though. Whoops. So, favorite game, favorite movie, or favorite book? Marco? You can do anyone.
Name? To pick up the name or what?
What is a favorite game of yours, a favorite movie, or a favorite book?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't play games so
Okay.
long. So LOL, League of Legends, maybe. Yeah, I didn't play it a long time.
League of Legends. Okay. Caesar? Correct me on your name pronunciations this first day too.
Cesar.
Cesar. Got it.
Yes.
What's your favorite game, movie, or book?
The Witcher 3.
Okay. We're doing all games. Gina?
We could do Mario Kart for games.
Okay. Femi?
Let's go Maddie.
Madden?
Yeah.
Okay. Denise?
It's Dennis. For games, let's do Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers? What was the pronunciation of your name?
Oh, Dennis.
Denise. Okay.
Dennis.
Denise. Okay. Okay. Rowan? Okay, let's just do all favorite games, I guess.
It's Rowan.
Rowan.
Super Mario Brothers. I was gonna say Mario Kart too, but I'll go with Super Mario Brothers.
Aren't you guys too young for some of these games? Okay, cool. So we want to build this website. That's our objective today, right? Okay, so let's start. How can I get the HMH Web 3 to be big on my website? Josephine, how can I get HMH Web 3? Whoops.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I believe you have to open it, open and close, and with the H1.
Yeah. So an opening and closing tag for our H1. Very nice. And then just put the text, HMH Web 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We can get rid of Hello World. Oh, here's the problem, right? I'm editing my code and I'm saving it, but it's not refreshing in Chrome unless I click refresh. And then it changes. So to help us out with this, we're going to install an extension called Live Server. Yeah, so all you guys are going to install this extension. And then when we have Live Server installed, we right click on our HTML file and we say open with Live Server. Now, when we make changes, they show up instantly when we press save. All right. The other extension I'm going to require that you install today is called Prettier. And Prettier is amazing because it checks your code that there's no errors. And if it's all correct on save, it'll format it to make it visually in the correct format. So that extension, again, you just search for Prettier. And you know it's working when you press save and the code moves back into place. So let's actually pause there. I want everybody VS Code, or maybe I guess we can do that right after lecture. Let's not stop the flow. We'll do it right after lecture. Sorry about that. Let's continue on. Okay, what comes next? Ooh, this is a little tricky, right? So how do we get an image to show up? First, I have to download it, which I did in this folder of downloads. So I'm going to move that over into my folder here. I'm going to rename it to class pick. So any advanced students thinks they know how to get this image to show up for us. Sorry, let me run this with Live Server again. Yeah, So any advanced students think they have a guess at how to get this image to show up?
I can take a guess.
Right, image tag.
Yeah. So we're going to use the image tag. So I'm going to just start typing IMG, and VS Code, if I press tab, will make an image tag for me. We'll finish this off and then we'll come back to talking about it because it looks different than our other tags, right? But to finish it off, how can I get the image to show up, Marco?
All right, class pic.png.
Yeah, so in the source, I'm going to write class pic.png. And now it's too, oh, my face looks crazy, right? All right, but it's too big. So just for today, you don't have to worry about this, but I'm going to cheat today and just make this way smaller. Okay, let's talk about this element because it looks different. So the name for this would be appropriate to call this an image element or an HTML element. Both would be its name as far as naming. But what do we notice that's weird about it compared to the hello world, the H1 tag or element? What do we notice that's different about it?
You have a source.
Yeah, so we have these things called attributes. So kind of like extra info for an element. There we go. And an attribute is made up of, hold on, sorry. Can I change the alignment? This is driving me crazy. I'll worry about it later. So we have these things called attributes. And attributes are made up of name and value. So what is the name and value of this specific attribute? Antonio? So this image element has an attribute. What is the name and value of this attribute? Are you still muted?
Sorry about that. The name is source equals class.png.
Yeah, so the name is source and the value is class pic.png. Exactly. Are there any other attributes, Eston? Any other attributes? Eston.
Alt.
Oh, Eston? Yeah.
Yeah. The other would be alt and width.
Yeah. So for alt, what's the name and value?
The name is alt, and then the value right now is empty.
Empty string, we call that. Yep, exactly. And then our final one is width and 500 pixels. So attributes are extra information. Some elements have them, some don't. Yeah. Some elements have them, but not all of them. Any attributes for the H1 element, Demi? For this H1?
There can be.
Yes, there can be. Good answer.
But there aren't.
But there are not. Yep. Yes. Okay, so what else? There's something else that's weird about this image element. It's the first one of its kind we've encountered besides the attributes.
It's
yes.
self-closing.
So we refer to this as a void element, or I guess you could say what did you call it, Demi? Closing?
Self-closing.
Yeah, I guess you could also say self-closing. So some elements are like this. They don't have any children. It's not possible to put a child element. So they're referred to as void elements. So what about H1? Is that a void element? ZO2?
No, it's not.
It's not. Correct. What's the child?
H1?
Yeah, the child of the H1 is just the
Or
text, hello
the
world.
text.
Yeah, very good. Okay, we're way on our way. What? Sorry, I'm all over the place. What else do we have for this objective? Ooh, our favorite games, right? So, how can I make a list of things? Well, first, how can I get the favorite games to show up? Parvinder, how can I get favorite
So
games?
there are two ways. You can use the order list or unordered list. So we can go under the unordered right now because we are not counting 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be UL and then yes, favorite games.
Okay. We can do this and favorite games will show up. Yep. But really, we should put this in its own tag before the unordered list. So this might be appropriate for like an H3. Yep. But the other way did work. That's true. And now to get our actual games to show up. So League of Legends, Marco, how can we get League of Legends to show up?
Right in LI.
Yeah. Yeah, we save that and it shows up. We'll do a few more. All right. Very nice. Oh, why is it not like that? That's spelled right, right? Witcher? Yeah. That's another extension I have, a spelling checker that I really like. I don't require you guys to do that one, but I do recommend it. Okay. What questions do you have on HTML elements? Anything, really.
So you went over what UL and LI is?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we did kind of skip through that. So UL stands for unordered list, and it's a way to get your text to look like a list. So we use the parent unordered list, and then in the children, we have list items. And then visually, it will turn into these bullets.
Also, how important is it to indent? And when do you know to indent? Or will the
That's the beauty of
editor do it
Prettier.
for you?
That's the beauty of Prettier. It does it for you. Yeah, never have to worry about it. But obviously, the parent-child relationship is when it indents. So it's correct to say, or let me ask you, Antonio. So Witcher 3 is an HTML element, and whose is parent?
Favorite games?
No. Who's the parent element of the LI element?
UL.
Exactly. And then who's the parent of the UL element?
Body.
Yeah, and then who's the parent of the body?
HTML.
Yeah, so there's a lot of this parent-child relationships.
The code still works even if you don't.
It does, because HTML is horrible. It's so fuzzy. Chrome will just make its best guess at our bad code. But we obviously don't want, just because there's that flexibility built in, we still don't want to make errors on purpose, right? Because at some point it will break.
Got it.
But HTML is bizarre. Other programming language, you have the littlest error and it doesn't work at all. And HTML is just not like that for whatever reason. It's crazy.
So the indentations aren't just for readability, it has other purposes?
No, these indentations are purely for readability.
Oh, okay.
When a computer reads this, it's going to be like gross, like all one line. Yeah. It's called minimizing it or minification. This is for human readability, these line breaks and yeah. Yeah, great questions. Other questions?
Yeah, sorry. Really quick. What's the name of that extension for the spell check, please?
Okay. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, so code, spell checker.
Okay, thank you.
Especially if English is a second language for anyone, or you just aren't good at spelling, definitely install it. Sometimes it's annoying, but it's worth it. Other questions? Okay.
Sorry, last question.
Keep it going.
Where do you go to search the extensions?
Oh, so there's a tab in VS Code.
There it
you
is.
click
Okay,
extensions. Yeah.
Got it.
Also, please no one leave here today without Prettier and Live Server working. It's just going to save so much headaches in the future. Because what I recommend to you guys, the worst errors is when I come into a room and there's like 100 errors and a student just kept on going, like, and kind of swept it under the rug, ignored it. Like, write one line of code, and then if it doesn't work, you'll note. Oh my God, Prettier's doing some wild things right now. There we go. If it doesn't work, watch what happens. If there's an error, it shows red, and Prettier shows red, and it won't auto format anymore. At that point, stop what you're doing. Do not write more code. I don't know why students do this. It's the craziest thing. Figure out your error and then continue on. Okay?
You said Prettier, and what's the other one?
A live server.
Got it.
Yeah, live server is what enables us to save and Chrome refreshes. So we don't have to manually click refresh here to see our changes in the code. Okay, what other tags do we need? We need an anchor tag, and I think that's it. So I want League of Legends to be clickable. When you click it, I want it to go to the Wikipedia for League of Legends. So I want it to go to this site when I click it. How can I accomplish that? Gina, any guess? How can I turn this into a link?
Perhaps make it like an A tag. Like
Very nice. Yeah, I'm going to use an anchor tag. And then what attribute do we have on this anchor tag? Gina, any guess?
No, I forgot.
Femi, what's our anchor tag, or what's our attribute for this element?
href.
Yeah, href is the name and the value is what?
Empty string.
But we want to fill that with what value?
The link to the website.
Yeah. So now, well, let me delete this. Now we put in the href, but we have nothing clickable, no text. So what do we need in this anchor tag?
The text.
Yeah. So now we have an attribute and some child content in this anchor tag. Now when we click it, it will take us to League of Legends. So when the birth of HTML, this was the whole party, right? This was the intention. Just this, what you're looking at. Maybe even the image was like not even existing yet. I don't know. I haven't researched like the very history. But yeah, like hypertext. So we have a link, right? And then markup language. We have a big title. And then the image is probably like our fanciest tag. Yep. So that is all of lecture. Oh no, I'm sorry. We need deployment. Because if you tried to submit this assignment right now, what would be the problem to me?
That's not a link.
It's only being served on your local computer. It's only available on your local computer. We want for everyone in the world to be able to see it. Your mom tonight, you're going to send her the link, right? You're going to be proud. You're going to submit it in my assignment so I can see it and grade it. So everyone in the world needs to be able to see this beautiful website we've created. So how do we do that, right? We're going to use a service called Netlify. You're going to create an account on Netlify. You're going to log in. I recommend actually using GitHub to log in, but if you don't have a GitHub yet, not a huge deal. And then you're going to click Add a New Site. Deploy manually. And you're going to find this day one folder in your file explorer. So right here, all the code I wrote is day one. And this is very important. Directly in this folder has to be the index.html. So I take this day one folder and I drag it over to here, to Netlify. And then I can click Open Production Deploy. Is that actually, hold on. Let me maximize this. And then I click Site Overview, and here's the link that anyone in the world can access and look at my site. And then this is the link that you're going to submit in Canvas. And then after you submit it, what I recommend doing, so you make sure you get your points, is look at your submission and make sure this link works. And what I really recommend doing is opening an incognito window to test it. Does anyone know why I recommend doing the incognito?
Your cookies aren't involved.
Yeah, sometimes you guys will mistakenly use a link that you can only access because you're logged in. Incognito will make sure that's not the case. Because again, if you submit me a link that doesn't work, it's just a 0, unfortunately. And it's that simple. That's it. Questions on any of that? So that's what we refer to as deployment. And of course, I'll be here the entire day for everything we covered. You guys are so quiet. Yeah, any final questions? Okay, then we'll do some breakout rooms, right? So let me stop sharing.